Alright, so today I am going to show you how to fix the park meter. As you can see, it does not read, so I'm going to show you how to fix that today. So the first step you're going to do is, if the car's in park, put the key into accessory mode, so that way you can shift, and put the parking brake on. Lower the steering wheel as far as it'll go. Shift into your lowest gear and just pull on these tabs just like this, and you'll be able to wiggle that out, and you'll probably turn your hazards on at the same time, but that will be fine. And turn it back off, and then now you can put the car in park, and there you go. Alright, so what you're going to want to do to remove the gauge cluster is going to be remove the 4 7mm bolts. There's one in each corner. So after you do that, move on to the next step. So after you get the 4 7mm out, you're gonna want to put the key into the accessory position again, and just shift always low, and then turn your left blinker on, so that way you can wiggle it out of there. And then right back in there, right here, you'll see your clip. All you're gonna do is push on that top and pull it straight out. And just like that, you have the gauge cluster out. Do want to be careful with this because you don't want to replace it. Alright, so now that you have your gauge cluster on your car, you can take it into a well area. It's a little bit cleaner, a little easier to see. You're going to want to start by taking the screen off right here. You're just going to start by prying these 3 pins just very carefully, as to not break them. And then there'll be 2 more underneath here. You'll probably need a little thinner screwdriver. Alright, so the way I got the face off was you take the 3 tabs off the front top, and then there's 2 little tabs down here. You have to just pry at them. I got a small screwdriver and worked at it that way. So next we're going to take all the gauges and set them as far low as they will go, and we're going to grab a sticky note so that way we can make sure that we keep all the gauges as accurate as they were when we started. Alright, so the way I got the face off was you take the 3 tabs off the front top, and then there's 2 little tabs down here. You have to just pry at them. I got a small screwdriver and worked at it that way. So next we're going to take all the gauges and set them as far low as they will go, and we're going to grab a sticky note so that way we can make sure that we keep all the gauges as accurate as they were when we started. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a sticky note, set it under your gauge, make sure it's as far down as it goes. You're just going to want to do that and leave that there, and you're going to do that for all the gauges. Alright, so after you get all of the gauges to as far left as they will go, and you get the post nuts where it's supposed to be, you're just going to grab these and you're just going to pull up on them and they'll come out. If you have a pry tool for this kind of thing, that would be a great thing to use. Alright, now that you have all the pins out, all you're going to want to do is just lift this. You have to wiggle it around that little pin right there. But this is just a face cover. Gotta make sure you don't crease it, but you just gotta get it out just like that. Make sure those sticky notes do not come off. You might want to take a picture of it for reference in case they were to fall off for some reason. And now you get to see this part. Alright, so then what you're going to do is on the front and the back are some more tabs. You take those off and you will get to here. This is where you want to be. Here is the motherboard. Be very careful with this. Alright, so to do this, to fix the park lever, you're just need some solder and a soldering iron. That is all you're going to need. And a screwdriver. That's all. Okay, so one of the main issues with this display right here are these little capacitors over here. This is your speedometer. If these come, the solder comes undone and cracks. So just resolder these. I mean, that's not the best soldering job, but that should work. So yeah, those are your main problems, are those. So let's go put it back in the truck and test it. And to test it, just shove it in, just kind of like this at an angle. You'll be able to plug it in, and that's all you're going to be able to do. So it'll also make it to where you can kind of make it rest on its own, just like that. So now we're going to set the key, and we're going to watch that display. As we can see, it turned on. There we go. We know we did it right. Parking works. So now you can go ahead and put everything back together. I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're going to have this piece and this clear piece right here. So before we do anything else, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this clear plastic piece out, and then I'm going to put this piece on by itself, just to make sure that it snaps into place properly. Just like that. And then now I'm going to, you want to make sure again, wipe down all these little screens. I'm going to wipe those down, and I'm going to wipe this down as well. Alright, I got it all wiped down and in place. So now we can go ahead and line this up. But first, we are going to want to put this in right here. That way it goes, shows right through, yep. And then now all these little clips you'll see around just snap into place. And now it is time to put your gauges back on. So what you're going to want to do is we'll start with this smallest one of these. We'll do the battery first. We'll push it in. And as you can hear, it doesn't go any further to the left. So that way when we take it all the way to the left, it does show there. So you're gonna do that with the rest of them. Right, so if you're wondering like what's like the best way to figure out how it's supposed to go on, or if you know it's all the way back, what you can do is you can put it in and then just take the knob and go all the way around to the left first and then go back down. So that way you can get it as far to the left as it can go. Because when you go to the right, you can hear the gears start to move. And then they stop right there, which is where the needle stops moving. Same for these. So, there we go. Now we can take these sticky notes off. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned this piece off as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to stick that one hole straight through there. And then you're going to just clip all the clips into place. And it should fall right where it should go. Remember, just get that one, that in first. And then the rest of it should, you just got to find all the pops. And it should pop right into where it's supposed to go. So just like that, the entire gauge cluster is back together. Alright, so what I suggest doing is put it into low. And then put it in top first on top of the steering wheel. That way it slides into place a little bit better and a little bit easier. So next, you're just going to go ahead and find your electrical connector in the back, and it only goes in one way. The clip goes into the top, as you remember. So all you're going to do is you're going to put that in, and then you can line it up. So now that you have the electrical connection in, you can just lift it simply. You just got to find, there's a hole there, and then there's a hole here. So you're just going to slide both of those into place, and then it is nice and lined up for you to put the bolts back into place. Alright, with all 4 of the 7mm in, let's go ahead and put the key into ignition. Turn the hazards off, and as we can see, the park neutral drive reverse works. So now we know that works. And all the gauges are good too. I'll turn the engine on. about 1,000 to 900 at idle. Your last thing to do is take your piece of plastic trim with the vehicle in first gear or low. You can slide it around this, and you just make sure all the tabs, and it just slams right into place. Hope this helps. See you next time.